All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Let me know if you can see me. It's a little bit washed out tonight. I'm not quite sure why, other than I changed a bunch of stuff around in the studio. But if you can see me, if you can hear me, let me know so that I know that everything is good to go. I'll give it a moment for the chat to catch up to the live stream. Hopefully everything's working. I'm seeing people saying hello to each other. I'm not seeing anybody letting me know that it's live yet, so hopefully we're good. Oh, but can see me? Awesome. But can you hear me? That is the question. Can you hear me, and is it okay? The vertical lighting is a bit harsh, but you look sharp. Okay. All right, yeah, I've got to try to sort things out. I've got a different desk in my streaming area, and things are aligned a little bit different, so yeah, I'll have to sort that out. Okay, all right, so we are hopefully, let me see what's going on here. Yeah, so hopefully we are going to be working on, well, not hopefully, but we are going to be working on some Enterprise D stuff. It's just I'm not quite sure what's going to get accomplished because I'm in the middle of sorting a bunch of stuff out for, does that camera have showcase mode? I'm not sure. I've just got some lighting issues, but you're not going to see much of my face as we get, it wants to focus on the back wall. Well, it's actually on, you know what? Here's a nice image of the Defiant. Oh, wrong thing. Stretch. Tell you what. Have a quick look at this for a moment while I make an adjustment. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Just making some adjustments. Da 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 da. Let's see if that helps. I'm back here live at the table. And is this any better? Am I better now? Better? Not as good? Better? Ian asks if I got the Bill Krause coffee table book. No, I did not. I don't even know if those are... Lighting is better, still background is in focus. Well, you know what? That's going to be about as good as I'm going to be able to get it tonight. But we are going to switch over to the desk here anyway, and my face will just go, will actually go down to the corner there. So it won't be too bad. But, all right, let's see what's happening in the chat here. Yeah, can't hear me. Showcase mode, background. Jordan was late. Wow, how are you waving hands around like that and trying and typing in chat at the same time, Andrew? Jordan, are you in chat on screen at the same? Yeah. Da 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 da. If I stand back too far, I'll be too far away from my desk, where work is hopefully going to be done. All right, so let's switch over to the desk. Let's throw this up in the corner, and let's grab some stuff that I'm going to be working on. So I'm in the throes right now of doing this. Just remove my head. There we go. All right, so I'm trying to sort how I am going to be connecting the secondary hull up to a stand, and how the secondary hull is all going to be assembled, because although there are things provided by Helios for this, none of it is exactly what you would call plug and play. There's a lot of work that has to be done to get all of this to work. Now, I've already made adjustments to the metal plate that goes in here, and I was going to go with plastic, so stock styrene sensor bands, but my mounting system that I was using, I was looking at it today, and it was a little cantered this way, and I really wasn't happy with it. It was just like cantered a little bit, and no matter what I could do, I could not get it to straighten out. So I basically ripped up all of the work I had done and pulled the copper T out, and I've made a few adjustments. So the first adjustment that I made was to widen this hole just a hair. I don't know what kind of post or pipe or what Helios is expecting us to use in here, because it's not a particular standard size of anything here in North America. Might be a standard thing in Germany, but bit of an issue to find a good post mounting system here. I am also restricted by the fact that the post needs to be able to come off of this for shipping. So what I have done is I've widened it a little bit so that a 1-inch copper pipe will be able to fit in here, and I've widened it just enough for that copper pipe to fit in. So it is going to be a good, snug, tight fit, but then the metal plate is the original size, and that's going to be smaller than the diameter of the copper pipe, and that's going to prevent it from moving any further into the model, because I need it to be able to be disconnected from the model for shipping, because this particular one has to go all the way to Belgium when it's done. I've been working on the support arm as well, and I've inserted a metal square metal tube into, well, square brass tube into the resin armature piece to give it a little bit more support. I'm just putting it up to the light so I can see, make sure the post is actually properly located there inside. I've also been... Yes, I just used the Imperial system because that's how those pipes are measured. Probably because they come from America or something like that. So I've chewed out a section in the base where the square brass tube can be inserted into, and I think I have the positioning lined up properly, but I'm going to be continuing to sort all that out here tonight. I have the metal plate just tacked in place with hot melt, just so it doesn't move around while I'm working with it, trying to get everything lined up. So that is what I am currently working on right now. I know Phil is having a metal arm made for his kit. I don't think that I'm going to have to actually do something quite that extreme. I think that the brass tube inside here is just going to give it that extra support necessary. I am thinking that I'm going to drill a hole into the arm. The arm is hollow. That's why it's not. Well, that's why we have some concern over the structural integrity of the arm, because it is hollow. But I'm going to drill into it here and backfill the bottom of the arm with some resin so that it kind of seals around that post inside and creates just a bit more of a secure base to that arm. So that's the plan. So if you can poke any holes, in my plan, now's the time to tell me, because nothing is set in epoxy yet. So things can still change, even if they're set in epoxy. The other stuff was epoxied in place, and I was able to get it out. Jordan says, was about to ask about the arm. Do you feel it's strong enough to hold that massive saucer? The arm by itself, probably not, but that's why I'm reinforcing it with the brass tube, the square brass tube in there. That's just going to be enough to make sure that arm doesn't go anywhere, that nothing happens to it. I don't think that the entire thing needs to be recreated in metal. That's very cool. Any light bleeding? Well, we're not there yet. We are not anywhere near lighting this thing yet. I have installed one light, and that is an 0402 SMD to go on the bottom. There we go. In here, and that's the secondary hull ventral flashing light there. So that the problem I had was that once you get the structure in place, you cannot access that at all. I mean, it's a pain to access it as it is because there's this big resin block in the way. So I drilled in from the bottom first, and then I drilled in from the top, and fed that LED through. So that's in place. It's the only LED that's currently in place right now. Danny's here. Danny says, hey boys, hey Andrew, what are we doing today? Just continuing to work on the D and looking at sorting out the structural on it. I was just saying I had to pull out my mounting system because it was just off level and it was bugging me and I couldn't get it straightened out. So I pulled it all out, and I am using my modified metal plate that gives me full access to everything. And just kind of, it's a bit of an R&D night on the structure. I've reinforced the arm with square brass tube, which goes up, and there's a bend up here where I cut it, bent it, soldered it, and that'll just give that extra bit of support to the arm. And we're going to make sure that the base of it here is well secured into the resin block that's in there. Once I backfill with resin, then I may drill through the very back and secure down with a bolt or something. We'll see. We'll see what's going to be needed. All right, let me grab the top of the secondary hull. Let me see about getting this on here. Getting the alignment of this arm is also a major pain. So it goes on something like this, but the alignment, when I actually go to put these two parts together, the alignment's going to be a major issue getting that right, and there's going to be a lot of putty work there in the front of the dish. But right now, things seem to be sitting okay. I'd like to be able to get this arm to shimmy back just a little bit more. I'm trying to see what's going on here. That might be... I'm not sure what is preventing it from shimmying back just that extra little bit. I think... So it's either the depth that I've got the hole in here, or there's a little bit of resin here. I might just try to scrape that away as we chat on in the chat. So Chris Harley says, do you have any tips for someone who is slowly learning electronics and lighting? Do you recommend making LED strings yourself or pre-bought ones off Amazon? Well, it completely, totally depends on what it is that you are looking to achieve. Look, give me one moment here. The shop is a bit of a mess at the moment. So when it comes, or if you're talking about physical hardware that you're putting into the model, I would just buy the components and wire everything up. And what you buy depends on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So in this case, we are going with all addressable LEDs so that everything can be independently controlled via a controller. And somebody's making an awful lot of noise outside, because I do have the shop door open. Yeah, so we're using all addressable LEDs, except for a few dumb LEDs, or like regular LEDs, SMDs, for navigation lights and stuff like that. I am using a combination of 5mm addressable LEDs, and in certain areas, but most of it's going to be addressable LED strip, and none of that is difficult to wire. Now, where you get into some issues is what's going to drive it. So you can either find yourself somebody who knows how to program Arduinos, who can either do it for you or teach you how to do it, or you can buy a pre-made for you setup like the inner lighting system. Depends on what you're what's available to you, who's available to you, and kind of what approach you want to take on it. But honestly, the physical wiring up of the LEDs and stuff like that is not very difficult. It takes a little bit of practice, a little bit of knowledge on how to solder. If you have no idea how to solder, there's lots of YouTube videos out there that teach you how to do it, and it's actually really quite simple. Dash tells Jordan to stop talking to his alter ego. That's just because Jordan and I are never on at the same time. I was on the Hobby Time Modelers last night, and because I was on, Jordan wasn't. And so that's the running joke, right? Okay, let's see. This is a bit more loose now that I've freed up a little bit of that resin. I might have to drill out a little bit further down. We'll see. But let me throw the top back on. Gary says, hello, Andrew. Hello. Welcome to the stream. I want to make sure that all of this is in camera. There's a little lip here on the arm that's supposed to go on this, like meet up with this edge on the secondary hull. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here. Yeah. This is going to be a little bit problematic when this arm keeps moving around. I might need to just tack that down temporarily with a little bit of hot melt glue. So let me get that warming up. I have absolutely no idea how far we're going to get on any of this. Several issues with this whole deal is, one, there are no instructions, so you're kind of guessing on how Helios has intended for you to do this. There's nothing to locate anything, so this arm has to be meticulously located for it to fit right, but there's nothing on the kit on the secondary hull to help you with locating it where it's supposed to go. So, yeah, lots of issues. Dash says he just came to smash the thumbs up button and only 5 people smashed it. Support Canada. Thanks. Let's see if this is warm enough just to put a dab, just to keep it from moving around on me. Not warm enough yet. So anything going on in the chat? How are you transporting this? You can't do it all in one piece. Well, it will be transported all in one piece because the entire thing will be assembled. I will be building a crate for it. I am gonna build. I'll probably build a crate for it, and I think that the Belgium client's gonna come over to pick it up and then accompany it home. And then I'm not quite sure what my BC client is going to do, but one of them is probably going to be at Wonderfest. So, let's see. Ian says, I would perfectly center the arm, then drill and tap for the bolt and test, then remove the bolt and glue it down with epoxy, then install the bolt to keep it true. Yeah, the problem is there's no perfectly, like, there's nothing to center it to. You have to make sure that the arm is placed perfectly based on the contour of the neck, and you can't put the top piece on and then jiggle it around because the top part blocks your access from moving it around. It's a bit of a nightmare to get this arm located. Dash mean you should like the smash button. Instead of using a giant interior arm support, would you ever assemble and finish the model foam inject it? No, I wouldn't do that. Where in Belgium are they located? Well, Danny, for you, the easiest way would be to look up Userful and see where they're located. I'm not exactly sure where they are located, but the company name is Userful because that's what the name of the ship is going to be. Fridays can be tough, was the restaurant until late and then fell asleep after dinner. So that's why Jordan never showed up last night. And then Buck says that we told you not to eat. Okay. All right, glue in. Okay, so we've got a dab of hot melt just to prevent it from moving around right now too much. I don't use hot melt for anything other than just temporarily putting something in place. Have I watched other assembly videos on this particular build? Well, it's Andrew. And there are no other assembly videos on this build. There are no other completed builds on YouTube or otherwise for this build. We are the first. There are 2 other build series on the go, but I'm probably further ahead than both of those. And the arm did not hold with that. I'm not surprised. They're an hour and 20 from where you are? Okay. Well, that's where it's going to be going. Let me put a bigger dab on. Just putting a bigger dab on, hoping that it holds into place. I think I'm going to have to drill out the hole that the brass tube is going into, or shorten the brass tube just a little bit. I'd rather not shorten the brass tube, just because I want as much of it to go into that block as possible. Is this MAG collection model? I'm unsure. This is the 1/650 scale Enterprise D from Helios Models. It is a resin print. It is huge, and it is very, very limited run. There are not a huge number of these things out there. So, all right. Take number 58, or something like that. That's actually not sitting too bad as far as the arm. That's actually pretty much perfect. As far as the arm placement goes. May have just kind of lucked out on that. I'm just kind of, sorry, trying to keep this in camera. Just trying to eyeball that sensor band there. That might just need to be adjusted slightly, but I think let me pull this up. If I can adjust that slightly. Yeah, I think that I've got enough done here that this will go together lined up quite nicely. I'm going to make some markings. If I can find my Sharpie. Here it is back here. I'm going to make some alignment marks for myself so I know exactly where this metal piece lines up. Because I'm going to have to take all this off. But at least now I have some guidelines, which is more than I had before. Let's see. Hit that like button, guys. Is Lou and Phil going to put in those bridge and conference rooms to their build? I have no idea. I haven't seen or heard them talking about putting any bridge parts in. And if they didn't already purchase them, they were available on what's it called? Shapeways. That's it. They were available on Shapeways from Spaceways from Mark, and they're currently not available because Shapeways went under, and I don't think Mark's gotten a new place to sell those yet, so they are not available as far as I know. But these two are painted in a box and on their way back to me, and I'm excited to see what they look like once they get in there. Just mostly tighten the bolt, put the neck on and adjust, then carefully remove Mark with a Sharpie, and then glue and bolt double. Yeah, it's tricky because I have to blindly align it, and just so it's aligned right now. It's perfectly aligned right now. Oh, I should also mark the arm. I should mark exactly where that arm is supposed to align on the metal plate. There we go. Danny says, if stuff goes wrong with the electronics during shipping, I could always troubleshoot from here if necessary. That would be awesome. Yeah, as long as there's no hardware issues, because that's a bit of a trickier thing, is if any lighting is an issue. But you'll probably just want to make the trip to see it anyway, right? Unless you're planning on coming to Wonderfest, you should come to Wonderfest. Make the trip over to America and come to Wonderfest. All right. Now that I've got it perfectly aligned, now that I have it absolutely perfectly aligned and I know that's going to work, I have to take it all apart now. And yeah, this is why you don't hot melt glue stuff for anything permanent, because yeah, it just comes apart. Okay. How am I going to do this tonight? Am I going to do this tonight? Well, where does this sit again? Okay, this is what I wish I had a drill press. I mean, like a drill press, because it would make my life a lot easier. I just have to go off camera for a moment to grab a couple things. Maybe? Oh, here we go. Let's see, where is my stuff? All right. We're going to drill some holes through the metal. Hopefully. I know we can because I have. I really need to get a drill press. Sure would make life easier. I wish I knew where the holes actually. Why don't I make my life a little bit easier and drill where the holes were drilled on this? Don't laugh at me for what I am about to do. Oh, whoa! Super chat. Tackleberry with the $20 super chat. Beer fun for Andrew. This build is scary. Well, I don't drink beer, but the coffee fund is definitely a good thing too. So, thank you so much for that super chat. Yes, I know that there are better tools for doing this. But unfortunately, those better tools are not here right now. And that just popped everything from that perfect alignment. But that's not a big deal, because we know exactly where it goes. Give me a moment, I'm going to do this on a piece of wood. And not on this table. One moment. Be right back. Be right back. Alright. Now, all things being equal, those should just about line up with the holes that are already in the resin. Let's see how that goes. So Ian, as you can see, I was kind of prepared for this. While he's gone, everybody hide. Yeah. Somebody said, well, it was there was a post on the various social medias that was basically saying that we all have 6 months to buy 8 billion, or to find 8 billion ape costumes before the Starliner crew comes back. Come on, iPad. Don't go. You know what? If I'm going to put this in, I should probably put down some epoxy and actually do this thing. Shouldn't I? I should just go right ahead and do it. Yeah. Let's mix up a little bit of epoxy, or a lot of epoxy, and get this metal plate. I was not planning on getting this metal plate on tonight, but let's just go ahead and do that. So, what's everyone up to? What's everybody doing? What you working on? DeWalt is a better tool, is it? Hey, this is the line of tools I got. I'm just happy to have a line of tools for various different things. Yes, yes, Todd, your chat is super too. Everybody's chat is super. Everybody's chat is super. Some people have more chat than others. Especially on Hobby Time Modelers. So Donnie is soldering LEDs. He's probably soldering wires onto teeny tiny SMDs or something. A little bit of fresh coffee. Uh-oh, tool houses are showing up. Fortunately, you can't see too much of the shop here right now, in the way I've got the camera set up, because things are an absolute mess at the moment. I rearranged a bunch of furniture in here. These kits are huge, and require lots of space, and just ended up moving a bunch of stuff to make a little bit more space and make things a little bit more user-friendly for me. Let's see, when you're building a model and make some mistakes, big or small, how often do you try to correct that mistake via live with it, hoping it actually enhances what you were thinking? Oh, versus correct that mistake versus live with it. Got it. Well, I just tore apart my whole mounting system because I wasn't quite happy with the canter it had. So I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I don't like to let anything go if I can fix it. So I will do anything essentially to fix it if I can. And if I don't notice something until it's too late, boy, it will bug me for a lifetime. Absolutely will bug me for a lifetime. So, you know what? I took the label off because they come joined together at the hip, and I hate that because I don't have as much control. So I separated it out, took the label off. I don't know what particular kind this is right now. All that matters is it works. HTM is a different kind of special. Yeah. Andrew, remember when we came up with that crazy idea of manually soldering those tiny SMDs into the phaser strip? That must have been the most tedious thing I've ever done. Yeah, that was not the best of solutions. That was before I came up with doing the LEDs on the side, which is now kind of a thing that people do. It's counterintuitive to put them on the side, but it works. Works really well. Looks really good. If you get super high density LED strips, it looks just so smooth. Smooth like butter. I am breaking a cardinal rule right now. Never do major assembly bits on live stream. The bolts are going to be what's really holding it in place. All hopped up on caffeine, hits harder at 1.5 speed. Okay. Andrew, I found a strip that actually had the SMD pointed downwards towards the plastic, but that actually resulted in increased visibility, of the hotspots, yeah. I can imagine it would. Okay. Line her up. I'm just gonna put some hot glue in these corners just to kind of keep this located in the correct spot. All right. this is basically just to keep these corners located and so it doesn't move around too much right now. All this hot melt glue will disappear. And I almost just knocked over my bit box. Had it on the stool behind me, bumped into the stool. It almost went all over the place. Let's see. What's going on here? Jordan says, wait, you're not supposed to do that? Distractions, right? Distractions when you're doing major assembly, probably not the best thing. Chris says, wait, you're assembling the hull before LED installation minus that one? Would you do this method for other scale? No, I'm not assembling the hull. I'm just getting the metal plate inserted so that I can get the arm in place and that major structural stuff happening. It's a good time to do it. I've still got lots of space to do LEDs. Actually, this plate here, let me just clear this off the screen. I said, let me just clear that off the screen. Thank you. Let me grab the other metal plate I have, and you can see what it looks like without any of the alterations. All right, here is the other metal plate, because I'm building two of these. So this is what it looks like. That's being blocked by my face. So this is what it looks like when it comes. But if you put this on, you're blocking access for being able to do all the lighting and stuff that you need to be able to do in the kit and running wires, that type of thing. So I had all this stuff here removed so that it's all open. Light can travel through the model better. Yeah, I've seen one other person. They've drilled several big holes just going through so they have access. You just need to be able to have some sort of access in there to be able to deal with all of your lighting. So yeah, no, I'm not assembling before lighting. And Chris says, after all that explanation, Chris says, scratch that last question. Welcome to ADHD combined with dyslexia. And Danny also says, before gluing that monster together, I would like to remind you to put the lighting in. Yeah, I've got the ventral flasher in there. That's the only one that I had to put in before running the putting the metal plate in place. I'm not fully assembling the secondary hull right now. Okay, I'm not fully assembling the secondary hull. Just the metal plate, so that I can continue working on the armature and support. And Dash says, why did Captain Kirk bring a riding mower onto the Enterprise to boldly mow where no one has mowed before? All right. I'm going to look at bolting this down. I don't think I have a driver. You know what? You know what I didn't do? I didn't check to make sure I drilled the right size hole for the bolt to go through before gluing it in here. So I am going to have to wait now for that epoxy to set before I increase the holes, because I don't... actually, you know what? It might go in. It might. It might. We'll see. It's possible. I don't have a power driver for these things, or a power driver bit for these things. Although I may want that resin to set first. Maybe, just maybe, I'm going to want that resin to set. Yeah. Let's see. Dash says, don't blame me, I got it from Alexa. I do not have an Alexa. Alright, let me clean up a little bit of this mess I made, and we will continue. All right. Okay, what else is there that I can do right now? I'm just really tempted to try to get this down there. Well, let me see what I can do here. No, that's gonna move around on me. And I don't want it to move around. Because it's right now it's in the perfect position. I'm gonna just take the cautious approach there. All right. Do you ever leave your own? Let's see here. Do you ever leave your own Easter eggs in the models or paint job, similar to what they did for the studio models, so Aztecs, and they spell ugly, or the L-cars with hidden stuff? Nope, not really. Or at least I haven't up to now. And Chris also says, as I asked, live with mistakes to see if it's a pleasant mistake in the end. Yeah, I know if there's something that I see, it will bug me. I will have to fix it. There's no mistakes. There are happy little accidents. All right. I also need to keep an eye on the time. At 9:55, we're doing okay. So hopefully, before the end of the stream, we'll be able to get those bolted in there. Let's see. This is the first kit, secondary hull. I'm not sure why Phil's detail on the shuttle bay wasn't there. Mine seems to be there, no problem. All right. Just looking around to see what the next thing is I need to work on a little bit. Let's go with this. Let's go with this for now. And I'll get some putty work done while we chat away. And actually, it looks like the first thing I need to do is some putty cleanup. So let me grab a few things. Again, I'm having to look around for everything because I've moved everything for rearranging my studio. Not everything is back into its proper locations yet. All right. And I'll grab a footstool. Milk crate works great as a footstool. All right. Let's see. Do you have that shuttle bay over there? Because it did not look accurate to the artwork. No, I do not have the shuttle bay. I think if I was going to put a shuttle bay in these, that I would have it designed. Like I would have somebody do the 3D work of designing that the way that shuttle bay is supposed to be. I do not like the shuttle bay they made because it is not, in my mind, what the shuttle bay was supposed to be. Because the shuttle bay in the saucer of the D is supposed to be massive and surround that whole... what do I have here for reference? Essentially, the shuttle bay is supposed to be under this whole section here. So if you're going to do a shuttle bay, you really need to put that whole section in. There is a center column where all of the turbo lifts and stuff go through. And if you've ever seen the Stage 9 digital creation of the interior of the Enterprise D, they really did a good job in replicating what that was supposed to look like. And it's just massive. And the one that Helios did is basically just a rectangle in the back, and it's missing everything that's supposed to be in that main shuttle bay. The whole point of them not showing that main shuttle bay in TNG was the fact that it was too massive for them to create a set for. Yeah, the shuttle bay was absolutely enormous. And it's like a whole complex in and of itself. So, yeah, I'm glad that my clients did not go for the shuttle bay because, one, it would have had to been scratch built, or I would have had to have somebody create one for me. But also, the armature, let me switch to face view here. So on the armature, this piece goes in front of the bridge, I believe, settles in front of the bridge. And then there's a cutaway here, and they've got the cutaway there for the shuttle bay. The lighting might be better if I actually show you on this one here. So this cutaway is there to accommodate the space for their bridge insert. So if you're using the armature they provide, then and you want to do an accurate bridge, you would have to make major modifications. Not a bridge, shuttle bay. You'd have to make major Let's try that again. You would have to make major alterations to the armature to accommodate the proper sized shuttle bay in there. So I am not doing that, at least not on this one. I'm going to ignore Ian's comments there. Chris says, have you ever done a video on workspace organization? You asked what people are doing, and that's my next project before I start any new builds, is to get a shelf with a 10,000 lumen light over the bench. No, I have not. And really, my workspace is just basically set up as needed. So it's available for me to change up as needed depending on what I am working on. And a lot of it depends on what content I'm creating too. So because I've been doing more live streams, my setup has to take live stream work into account, which is one of the reasons why I actually swap things around, and I've got a different workspace here, because the workspace I had here was basically like a counter that had drawers in it, and there was nowhere for me to sit up close and put my legs under the table, whereas this is actually a desk, and so I can sit up right close to the work while I'm on stream. I'm on my stool. I'm on a stool. Got my feet on a milk crate, and it's so much more comfortable for doing work on these live streams. So it's just a matter of what works for whatever it is I'm currently doing. These nacelles on the Enterprise E, the pylons, I should say, are the worst fitting pylons you ever did see. When they go in, there's gaps for miles, and they need an awful lot of attention when it comes to puttying. Todd says the main shuttle bay on the D is massive and would take up most of 2 decks. Yeah, well, yeah, it takes up a huge chunk in the center of the saucer section there. I would have loved to have seen it, and if they were to do a show now with a Galaxy class, with the technology that's available, with producing sets and expanding sets and digital sets and all that kind of stuff, they could easily, well, it might not be maybe not easily, but they could definitely, it would be doable for them to show the main shuttle bay. It's definitely going to need more layers in there. Here we go. It's gone quiet. Chat's gone quiet. Which means now I am looking for things to say to keep the stream going. It's quiet. It's a little too quiet. It's always a little strange when things are quiet around the house here, given that we have 2 young kids in the house. They are asleep, though, and hopefully they stay asleep. I'm currently just on first round, how do I say this? First round, first pass, rough putty work right now. I'm not on the highly finished putty work at the moment, so whatever you see me working on here tonight is not going to be a finished product by any means. Things will get smoothed out a lot more. Some really up-close personal work will be done. I'm just looking to fill gaps right now and make sure that there's no extra material. And then the refining putty work will be done off camera. I'm not going to do refining putty work on camera. Danny said you pulled out the superior ship, so we're watching in silence now. And Jordan says, I found the E online and I'm contemplating that for a future build series. Other than the pylons, are there any other issues that I should be aware of? There are loads of issues. Where do I start on the issues? Yeah, so pylon fit is problematic. When it comes to the nacelles, there's not a lot of space in these nacelles to work. When you're doing lighting, it becomes a little... I need to throw this saucer somewhere. Yeah, not a lot of space to work inside, and they're split side and side instead of the D that is split bottom and top. So when they're split bottom top, you can put the bottom in, and you've got that whole surface to work on in regards to putting lighting in. It's a little trickier when it's side and side because you have to kind of balance everything and try to get things in, and there's not really a good place to rest everything. Let's see. If you're gonna open the windows, it takes forever, but they can turn out really nicely on here. What else? The deflector housing is wrong, and I have been using the Spaceways aftermarket parts for them. Again, Spaceways was on Shapeways. Shapeways is gone. I'm gonna have to figure out where I get those parts. All this BD, all this CDE talk. Nobody likes the poor Enterprise B. I do like the Enterprise B. I'd love to build one, but I need to get one that's a decent size. If I do, and probably years down the road when I'm not doing some commission jobs. What else? So yeah, the deflector housing is wrong. It's not shaped right, and it is a terrible fit. Let's see. Also, the model, the kit itself is. Let me get it in frame here. The model itself is too narrow to what it's supposed to be. So it's narrower than it should be. So when you're then translating the paintwork over, nothing quite fits right compared to the studio model, because you have to adjust for the fact that it's just too skinny. What else? Yeah, there's some fit issues and stuff like that. And getting your wiring up to the nacelles is a bit of a labor of love as well, because there's no space in the pylons. You have to clear a channel out, and there's not really a lot of room for error in creating a channel for your lighting, because the pylons are not too thick, and there's only a couple locations where it's viable for you to send the wiring. So that is a bit of work. Let's see. Danny said, maybe start with the fact that the whole model of the E is off. Yeah, there's a lot of issues with it, but also 3 movies with the Enterprise E, they didn't use the same assets twice. The First Contact was a combination of studio model and some CG work. And then they used 2 completely different CG models for Insurrection and Nemesis. So there's no definitive, just like the Enterprise D, there's no definitive canon version because there's multiple versions. Dash says, for Andrew's next build, an Enterprise J 160 650 scale universe class starship. I hate I hate. There's not much I hate, but I hate the Enterprise J. I do not like it. I do not like it at all. Andrew, have you noticed how misaligned the lower and upper saucer are on the E model? It's just terrible. Yeah, the RCS thrusters are not aligned properly. They are a mess as well. Ian says, if you have 2 kids, there should be a fire somewhere, or a bruise, or bleeding. Jordan agrees with me. The universe class is awful. Yeah, I do not like the J at all. Yeah, I try to be open-minded about all the everything when it comes to the designs and stuff like that, but I do not like. I will preface that it is my personal opinion, but my personal opinion is that it is not good. All right. And Donnie says, "Tell us how you really feel about the J, Andrew." Yeah, you won't. I will not seek out a J build, and I don't know if it would be really possible to do a J build. I don't think that you could build a model of it that would support itself. Those nacelle pylons are incredibly spindly. I don't know. I don't think I'd want to try that. Let's see. I have to find something in my shop after moving everything around, and that's going to be a pain. Let's see. Hopefully somewhere close by. Give me a moment. Gotta find something. Oh, found it. Found it. I have to find something else now. Found it. Okay. Not the major issues I thought it was going to be. Oh, I should check my... I just threw it on the floor. Check the witness epoxy. The epoxy is setting up. I always check the whatever I'm using to mix the epoxy on. I always leave it out with the with something on it. Like in this case, I used a toothpick. I leave it out so that it gauges how the epoxy on the model is setting. And let's see. Jordan says the Oberth is a nicer looking ship. Yeah. I've got an Oberth on my shelf. Got the 350 Grissom. This is Enterprise calling. Come in, please. Donnie says, how do you feel about the nacelles that aren't attached to the ship? 1,000 years in the future, so when it comes to it being something on the show, I don't care. But why would they make something on the show that's going to be impossible for model builders to build? I don't know. When I look at ships, I think, okay, how would I possibly build that? How do you build it? Because the OCD part of my brain doesn't want to have acrylic rods attaching the nacelles to the ship, because you can see it. I would want something that you couldn't see, because then it wouldn't look right. So I don't know. I just think about how would you build something? How would you build something? Let's see. Danny says the Annex refit would fall in the same class as the Enterprise G. Jordan says submarine pylons are awful and make zero sense from a scientific standpoint. I mean, it's science fiction. You can basically do whatever you want to, right? And come up with some sort of in-world explanation. It's just if there's no in-world explanation, sometimes it bugs me. Donnie says, I guess they have a wireless charger built into them? Yeah, it'd be wireless something or other. Although we do have wireless charging. We've got induction charging. We've got like there's all this kind of stuff. So who knows what they might be able to do in the future. Dash says, so you're saying the Discovery is better than the J, so there's a chance? Ian says JJ prize is worst prize. Yeah, I have softened over the years to the whole JJ Trek stuff. I mean, it's not ever going to be my favorite by any stretch of the imagination, but I've softened towards it. I get what they were doing. I think that they could have communicated what they were doing or what the goal with it was in world, like in world reasoning and stuff like that, much better. It's like you can do anything you want to, pretty much. Just give us some sort of in-world explanation so that those of us who go OCD about that stuff can rationalize it. And as long as we can rationalize it, okay, we can live with it. Donnie says the JJ prize was cool, the movie was meh. Yeah, I would like to actually get my hands on the JJ prize kit. I would like to get my hands on it because I think it would be cool to build that at some point. Again, not my favorite design, but not everything has to be either. Danny says those nacelles on the Enterprise in the new movies are just terrible as well. They're big, bulky, chunky. Chunky, I guess, would be a good word for it. Yeah, not my favorite, but like I said, I'd love to get my hands on one of the kits and build it sometime. But those kits are pretty much impossible to get my hands on now. Your local hobby shop has a JJ. Yeah, well, aren't they put out by Revell? And Revell is only selling their Star Trek kits in Europe? Is that how it's working? I'll have to get my... maybe I'll have to get my Belgian client when he comes over to pick up his Enterprise D to bring over a couple of kits. Or Danny if he comes to Wonderfest. You know, Danny, I missed you commented on Wonderfest, and I totally missed what you said. I'm just going back through the chat a little bit to see if I can see what it was you said. Okay, so I figured out where you came in. I found it. Wonderfest is tempting. Let's see. Wonderfest is tempting. I'm visiting the U.S. next year in April. May would just miss it. Yeah, because it's at the end of May. Beginning of June, literally, like I think it's May 31st, June 1st are the official dates. I think something like that. Yeah. Yeah, Revell is German. Donnie said, I have the Revell JJ Prize kit, but I got stuck trying to recreate the computer rotating fan, or the counter rotating fan blades in the nacelles. You got yours on Amazon? Yeah. We don't have it on Amazon. I've looked. But, yeah, I will get it at some point. The problem is even if I get it and get it into my stash, who knows when I will build anything in my stash. I have no idea. I have no idea when I'll build anything in my stash. Unless, well, my stash on my shelves over here is also models in stock for commission builds. Available for commission builds. So anything that I have on my shelf is available for commission work. So I guess it's not really a stash, it's in stock. Or at least maybe that's how I rationalize my stash. It's in stock. There we go. Yeah, Amazon between different countries is definitely very different. Because I know you can get solar res. Because it's nice to be able to make that solar res glass. You can get solar res off Amazon in the US, but you can't get it off Amazon in Canada. If you try to get the Mr. Resin that Ian has been suggesting to me, you can get it, but it's ridiculous. It's like well over $100 Canadian for the Mr. Resin. Also, like resin's gone up here considerably. The resin I use to make the keychains for Wonderfest, that I picked that up maybe in April, because I was ramping up making those like the month or so before Wonderfest. I needed some resin, and that was a decent price for a good quantity of resin. And I went to look for that on Amazon, and it was like twice the cost of what I paid just several months ago. I'm like, no, not doing that. Definitely not doing that. It just ridiculous. But I mean, it's just inflation. Inflation is crazy in these parts. I don't know what it's like elsewhere in the world, but here in Canada, it's just inflation. All right. Mr. Resin is a big bottle, yeah, but it's like twice the price of what you guys are paying for it, with the exchange rate taken into account. Move stuff, move stuff. Yeah, I just ordered a fresh bottle of Solar Res, and I think I ended up paying. So for one 4-ounce bottle of Solar Res, I ended up paying about $60 Canadian for the bottle of Solar Res, and then I got a bill from FedEx for another $20 for import charges. So about $80 I ended up spending for a 4-ounce bottle of Solar Res. Danny says the paint needed to do an accurate refit build is impossible to get here in Europe. We have very strict regulations on paint here in Europe. Yeah, I actually I cannot get the lacquer base of that paint here, they will not send it to me. The only option I have is a water-based version of that paint. So, my last Enterprise E client had toyed around with the idea of doing the post-Nemesis proposed refit version of the E, where with that refit style, color shifting, whatever you call it, paints. But he ended up deciding to go for a more canon approach, so I never ended up having to worry about that. There we go. Let that dry, and then I will do major touch-up stuff with it in a bit. Let me check the resin, the epoxy, and that's pretty good. So I'm going to put the Enterprise E aside, I think, and I might try to get those bolts in place. Dash says, how far are you from Michigan, Andrew? I could always get it sent to me and come pick it up. Michigan is a good chunk away, because we'd have to go 7 hours, well, no, not 7 hours, 6 hours, probably, I think it is, down to Windsor and across. I'm a lot closer to New York State. I am in Kingston, Ontario, and we are right on Lake Ontario. We're actually at the very east end of Lake Ontario, just before the St. Lawrence River starts. And so we've got we have to go either across a ferry to an island, across another ferry to another there's multiple ferries involved if we go the closest route, but it's not the fastest necessarily, depending on the ferry times. But also other than that, we have to drive around to the Thousand Islands crossing and down if we want to get into the States, like if we want to go to Syracuse or Watertown or something like that. Jordan says, refit E would be cool. I saw that design a while back. Now you are giving me ideas for my build. Yeah. I mean, it's a cool idea, but I like the E as she was intended. I like the E as she was built in studio model form. So, all right. Let's see how this is doing. I'm going to just make sure that this is accurately. There we go. Let me get rid of that mess. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if this is gonna. I might have to make the hole in the metal plate a bit bigger. We'll see. It's going in. Check alignment. Looks good. Oh, let me take that off screen. Did I tell you guys what I did with the hole for the post? I can't remember if I did or not. I'll tell you anyway. I'll tell you again anyway, even if I did tell you. The hole intended for the post, and I'm not sure really what Helios's intention was post-wise for this. It's a really strange size, but I've opened up the hole just slightly. I just kind of ground it out with my Dremel. And let me just check alignment. Everything looks like it's still good and in place. I can put the second bolt in. Or a top screw, I guess is what it is. If I can find... here it is over here. So yeah, I'm not sure what they were intending. I had to make it a little bit bigger so I could put the... I'm going to use in the Imperial measurement system again, 1-inch copper pipe. So I could fit that in here. It is going to be snug, which is good. And because the opening on the metal plate is just slightly smaller, that's going to prevent the copper pipe from going any further into the model, which is great. I think most of the guys building this are doing a permanently installed post, but because this has to somehow travel to the clients, I need to be able to remove the post. So we are doing our best to come up with the best option possible on this. All right. Now I think I'm going to record a clip for YouTube before I go too much further here. Here's my arm. So I'm going to turn off my overlays. I'm going to go into recording mode and record a clip. Now, a lot of what you've seen previously here in this video has actually been scrapped. I've thrown it out the window. I put this onto the post just to see how it was sitting level, and it was not level at all. I thought it was level at one point, but it wasn't level. So I had to pull everything out. In fact, here is the copper T that used to be in this place. Since I've gone ahead and modified the metal plate, I've reduced a lot of the weight involved. I've opened it up for the lighting. I decided that I would use the metal plate on both copies of the kit. I've had to make some changes and some adjustments. I've gone to using a 1-inch copper pipe on the for the post, but that meant that I've had to open up this hole just ever so slightly because it's not quite 1 inch. As far as copper pipe goes. The measurements on these pipes is all over the place. There doesn't seem to be a standard convention between all types of pipes. But we're going to put a copper pipe in here, and because the opening in the metal plate is just a little bit smaller than the 1-inch copper pipe, the metal plate is going to prevent that pipe from going in. Some of the other guys building this, Hagen Miller and Phil over at Sprueverse, they're using steel pipes that are threaded, and it looks like they are permanently putting their pipes in place. These need to go to their clients when they're done, and I need to be able to remove the pipes. So I can't put something in permanently. So this is my current solution. So I've lined everything up. It was a pain to get the arm lined up properly, but it sits in here now. I've got it marked exactly where it needs to go. It was a pain to get this metal piece lined up. We're able to do that. Actually, I did that on live stream, live on camera, which is a miracle that I got that done on camera. And it's been epoxied in place. I've put these bolts back in where they used to be on the copper T. And this should be really well secured in. Just ignore the little bits of hot melt glue. They were just put there to keep this in place while it was being epoxied down. And I think this should be a good way of doing it. Again, the wires here are for that light in the belly, because there's absolutely no way to access that now that we've got this piece in place. So it was good that I thought to put that in before doing that. There we go. Next clip done. Let me just catch up on chat. Danny's gone. I probably missed you while I was doing that. Good night, Danny. Let's see. Welcome, Captain Shalmang, to the stream. Just finished working. Let me get that up on screen. Just finished working the night work on my Federation class Dreadnought USS Indomitable. And saw you were live. Hope you're have been. I can't read. Can't read tonight. Hope you've been having good week, Andrew. Yep, it's been good. First week for the kids back. First week for my daughter back to school, and things are always challenging when routines change for her. So, but everything's gone really well. Okay, so that's in place. I think that's going to work out really well. Let me, you know what? I should grab a photo of this so that I can then post it on. Danny says something. Danny's not gone yet. Danny said, Andrew, why not go the other way around? Have a skewing system installed inside the ship and screw the whole ship on top of the post. After that, you can connect the cables to the controller. I thought about a threaded post. There's really not, and Danny might be gone by now, but I think what you're saying is a threaded post and screw it in. But there's not enough space really for me to get what would be necessary to do a screwed in post, as far as I can find, at least in the hardware I've been able to find. So we're going with what we're going with here. Yeah. All right. So that's good. I will. I can actually go ahead and remove the hot melt glue now. I probably should have done that before I record that clip. So, live streaming issues. Okay. Probably should have taken these off so that people aren't thinking that I'm securing things down with hot melt glue. But I will definitely take these off before I put any pictures up. Ah, and that one just kind of like popped right off there. I always cringe a little bit inside when I see people permanently affixing things in their ship with only hot melt glue. I think just a little bit of me dies inside when I see that. I'm seeing just a little bit of gunk. Yeah, skunk, that's the technical term. In these windows. Oh, it's not. It's I've still got some tape down there. I miss removing some tape. Well, that's not the end of the world. I should take a quick look at this with the UV light. Yep. There's a couple pieces of tape I missed. Nothing on that side. Let me get those out of the way. Let's see. Dash says, so have you tested the balance of the post to how it will sit and not tip over? Yes, I haven't tested it yet with the metal piece installed because we just installed the metal piece. But I did test. I've got I could only get a 6 foot length of 1 inch copper pipe. So As I was cleaning this out, making it a little bit bigger, I was test fitting it on the end of this big, long 6-foot tube. But it's very tight and snug and does not move. And I could probably set the whole thing on it and it wouldn't go through, but this piece here will stop it. And if I have any concerns, I will just secure a washer or something down there. But I don't think I will need to do that. Guessing hot melt glue is not a good bonding agent. No, I mean it'll stick stuff to stuff, but not to anything like this permanently. So I don't want my wires coming loose on the inside because the hot melt glue has come out. All right, that's really good. Yeah, I'm not quite ready to cut a length of post yet because I don't have a way of mounting it onto a temporary base yet, because I just got the 1-inch pipe today and I haven't had a chance to set up my base for that yet. And it's just a temporary working base. I have basically a piece of wood. So the piece that's on it right now is set up for the 3/4 inch pipe I was using. So I don't really have a way of mounting it on anything right now. That'll probably be a Monday job for me, getting that end of things sorted. All right. Okay, let's see. This, I'm gonna make sure this still fits in. That still goes in. It still lines up perfectly with the marks we left. So that is a very good sign. Oh, and Ian's talking about what he's working on. Or not working on, as the case may be, for various reasons. All right. Okay. I'm really happy that this is on here. This is nice and secure. Everything looks like it's perfectly aligned. And now I know what I'm going to do on the second kit once I get that one going as far as the mount is concerned. All right. We are in good shape. And, yeah. That's basically what I'm going to be working on in the next little bit. All right. That's going to be it for me tonight. I can't go for too long Saturday nights because I have to work early in the morning. And I can't get on till 9 o'clock Eastern because, well, kids. So I've got, somewhere between an hour and 3/4 and 2 hours to stream. And I don't want to start something new right now. So, yeah. I'll catch up on the chat, and then we're probably going to call it a night. Let's see. Jordan says, every time I hear hot melt glue, do-do-do-do-do-do-do, hot melt glue, hot cross buns runs through my head. Dash says, if I built this, I would turn it into a ceiling fan. That would be a pretty big, heavy ceiling fan. I don't think you'd really want it rotating above your head. Ian says, once you break out the ratchet driver, it's on. Donnie says, later, Andrew, great stream. All right, good night, Donnie. Thank you for stopping by, and I'm really, really, really looking forward to seeing those parts in person. I can imagine that they look even better in person than they do on camera. Things always look better in person than they do on camera. Oh, Hagen is in the room. Just got in and missed it. Well, not quite done, but I will show you what I've done, Hagen. Let me just get caught up on the chat here, and then I'll kind of take you through the little tour, which will be a good roundup for the stream anyway. So I'll take you on a quick tour of what's going on. Well, let's see. Dash says at least you only burned your fingers on the saw. Yeah, talking to Jordan. Donnie says, I hope you like them. I'm sure I will like them. All right. So Hagen is in the stream and just showed up, and so I'm going to show you what I did here. I think we were talking earlier, and I was saying that my mount, I put it on the post, and it was off balance. I think I may have told you that. So I've torn out the copper T, and I've taken the metal plate that I've modified. Now, I think I saw your metal plate. You had put, like, 3 holes on either side to get the wires through. So what I've done, aligning this thing is a pain. So just when you go to put this on the ship, just understand that it's going to be a pain to get it all aligned properly. I'm just going to grab a coffee refill here, since I'm going to be here for a few more minutes. Hagen says, I mean, I think mostly know what's up from chatting with you this week, but I'm interested anyway. And then he says, yeah, just some wire holes in mine. Yep. Awesome. So you've seen this part, the metal part, the adjustments that I made to it. I've also cleared out a spot here for the square tube. To fit into, drilled that out. Just had to be careful not to break the wires for the light that went in, because I'm never getting that out if I broke those wires. So I just had to work around those. Got this aligned. It was a pain to, because you have to work with that top piece going on, trying to get it into the right place, trying to get it aligned. You can't get access to it when you put it on. So this is in. I've bolted it in here, so there's a physical connection. It's epoxied on really well. And then this goes in like this. I will epoxy this thing like mad, where the tube goes into the resin block. Interesting. Let me grab the other. Let me grab the second round version of the secondary hull here. So this is the second kit, and the resin block is a little bit different on this one. It's got 2 holes in the back. Now, Hagen, is yours the first round or the second round kit? Because I would be curious if this is something that's indicative of the second round kit. I only just noticed this today. Because this is now hollow on the inside quite a ways. Actually, it looks like it's hollow. It looks like it's hollow if I hold it up to the light, all the way up to here. And maybe that's because of issues that people had getting the light in there. Maybe they ran those holes for people to get lighting through there. That's going to make it more challenging for me to secure my posts. Let's see. Yours is like that second round. I have no clue why. I may have to backfill that with resin. Yeah, I might just need to pour a load of resin in that before I work on it. Otherwise, securing things may not go quite as well. Maybe I'll run the wiring first, and then fill it with resin. We'll see. But yeah, so I'm pretty much ready, I think, to permanently attach the arm. And the fit is the fit's turned out quite well. To answer the question you had, when the picture I showed you earlier of the saucer on, did I post that on Facebook? I can't remember if I did or not, but I've got the photos here. So give me a quick moment. I will grab those and throw them up on screen. They're not in there, so I definitely wouldn't have put them up on the Book of Faces. Okay. All right. So in this picture here, so I sent you this picture earlier today, Hagen. The post, you can see how that goes in there. This was just as I was test fitting everything, trying to get alignment worked out. The front of the resin rests on the area just in front of deck 3. And the cutout, there is a cutout in the arm, and it looks like they have done that to accommodate the shuttle bay part that they've got there. So your shuttle bay part should go right in on that cutout section on the arm. So hopefully that answers that for you. All right. Yeah, so that's where things are at. So probably Monday, because tomorrow is a wash for me as far as getting any work done in the shop. Hopefully Monday, I will be able to get this support arm installed, and that will be a good chunk of work done. Yeah. So that's going to be it for tonight's stream. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. If you did, make sure that you hit the like button. If you're new to my channel or you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button today. You'll make me very happy if you do. I am trying to be here every Saturday night. Sometimes things just work out family-wise where I am not able to be here, but that is my goal, to be here every Saturday night. Hagen says, I haven't a clue why, honestly. I'm not quite sure what that was referring to, but if I just hold off here for a brief moment, I'm sure that Hagen will let me know what he was talking about. Oh, actually, I think that was in regards to the holes in the back there and the change in that. So okay, I think that's good. All right. So thank you everyone for joining me, and I will see you back here next Saturday, as long as everything goes well. And who knows, I may have a video either on the E or the D coming out later in the week. So we will see. All right. Have a good night, guys, and I will see you later.